After 7 years, we finally got Silksong, and after about a month of playing a little bit every day, I've officially 100% completed the game. I just wanted to talk about my experience, wanted to give it a review, but I don't want to review this game in the same way that I reviewed other games. I don't want to talk about the individual components. I definitely don't want to rate, and I never really rate the components with numbers and give the game score a complete number at the end. I feel like some of that's a little bit arbitrary. Just want to kind of have a casual conversation about Silksong. I just feel like it's such a beautiful and just well-crafted game. And I thought the same thing about the original Hollow Knight. The few people who put their time and effort into the original Hollow Knight did such a good job. And when I knew that Silksong was coming out, I knew that it was going to be improved. But I didn't realize that it was going to be vastly improved in every single facet that you could think of. I didn't think that the graphics would be that improved. Now, it's still all hand-drawn stuff, but it's hand-drawn by the same guy. But if you play Hollow Knight, you know that there's a few layers of parallaxing, especially in the background, and there's maybe one or two in the foreground that kind of move stuff around or move stuff along as your character moves across the map. But Silksong is just it's another level. I remember counting in the very first area, I wanted to do 5 or 6 different levels of parallaxing, as you get from the character towards the your perspective. And to add that many layers of moving things that are hand drawn, it's very clear that none of those 7 years were wasted. All of those 7 years were spent creating this beautiful world. And a lot of the original Hollow Knight had really dark, kind of basic areas. I think that's kind of that was kind of by design. But with Silksong being, because Hollow Knight, you go underground, you just keep going further underground essentially. Whereas in Silksong is the opposite. You start at the ground level and you're making your way up like a mountain essentially. So everything has just more life breathed into it. Instead of just having a static, foggy background, you have a bunch of layers of things in the background and just way more characters on the screen. There's the area in the trailer and you go through it a bunch when you're playing. It's in the very, very beginning after you leave the intro area where you're walking across this grass, and then you see all these bugs, so little bird, winged bugs essentially. They all kind of start flying in a direction. It's absolutely stunning to see all these different things come out of the foreground and the background and just exist in the world with you. I'm enamored by this game so much. And yeah, there's some things that were frustrating, receiving 2 hits of damage by some enemies, kind of frustrating. The fact that they doubled down on flying enemies, which was just, I really hated from the first one. They do the same thing, you move toward them and they kind of move away at the same speed, frustrating. But those things aside, it's just, the combat is really smooth, really fast, and you can play really quick, hitting a bunch of things super quick and then jumping around. You can play where you play a little bit not smarter but more strategic, where you stay back a little bit and you make your way in and do 1 or 2 hits and then you get away, and you could play so many different ways. But the game is so much faster, the animations are so much wilder, there's so much more happening on the screen. Like I said before, the music is just as wonderful. I did have an issue on Switch too. I don't know if it's the same thing with any other platforms that it was on, but essentially the issue that I had was with the sound, where the sound effects were loud and the music was quiet. So I had to keep the max volume. I keep all the volumes maxed out, and I had to turn down the sound effects a little bit so that when I turned the system volume up, you could hear the music, because it was kind of drowned out by all the sounds of you striking enemies and all the other stuff happening around you in the world. But once you do that, once you can actually hear the music, it's gorgeous. It's just so good. And I want to say it was the choral chambers. The music there is just so it's somber, and you have this little piano. It's just so, it's absolutely amazing. And like the music for like the boss battles are just so epic. It's just so crazy. I Christopher Larkin, who did the music for both Hollow Knight games, absolutely knocked it out of the park. And there's some like, or they call it diegenic sounds or diegenic music, where like you hear Chakra singing, so you know like, oh, you know that there's gonna be a map nearby that you can buy, or just like the way that the music plays. Sometimes you can just kind of like, it gives you an idea of like the vibe of what's going on. It's just really great. And I know it kind of was like, oh, I don't want to talk about each aspect. That's kind of what I naturally started doing anyway. But yeah, this game's so good. For $20, you really can't go wrong with a game like this, especially if you like 2D platformers, especially if you like Metroidvanias, especially if you like really difficult games, but games that are difficult but rewarding once you finally figure out a boss's pattern or figure out, master a platforming ability. I find that some bosses I take maybe 3, 4, 5 tries, and some like the final boss, the very final boss of the game took me like, I want to say it was like 30 tries before I finally got it. And I want to say it was number 27 or so, where I actually, and some people in the comments might give me shit for it. If you do, it's fine. But I looked up a video and watched someone fight that final boss. And I'm like, I really wonder how close I am. Because I really felt like I was really getting there. Only to find out that I was like only a few needle strikes away from beating the final boss. And I'm like, wow, like I feel like over those 27 times, I really, really improved. Like to get to a point where like, because a lot of these boss fights have multiple stages. You're like, man, I can get through like the first 2 stages without getting hit once. And it's like, it's insane to feel like I remember like finally like eking my way through the very first stage of the boss fight and being like, oh my god, there's more. But yeah, like I played it a few more times, finally got it. And at that point, I still hadn't gotten 100%. I had to go back, get all the rest of the things to reach 100%, and then fight that boss again to get the achievement. I had to do it a few times because it's still like that. It's still difficult. But I feel like this kind of game is really rewarding in that sense because you really get to figure it out. And every time that you play, you realize you're improving a little bit more each time. And it can be frustrating, but I do feel like it's very rewarding. And, if you are a big fan of Metroidvanias like I am, go ahead and hit that like button, because not only does it say it's a good video, I want to see more videos like this, it pushes the video out to more people, and it really helps the channel. So I really do appreciate when you do things like that. If you love games like Silksong, then definitely subscribe to the channel by clicking my face over right here. I'll have plenty of videos talking about all of the new Metroidvanias that I play, all the new platformers that I play. So go ahead and hit subscribe there to follow me to see more videos like that. But otherwise, see you on the next one.